Okay, so what if I told you it's totally possible to make a game completely alone, but it can still look beautiful. It doesn't have to look, I don't know, like crap. It can be polished, all with free assets, no modeling skills. This really does sound kind of gimmicky, I get that. So I'm not gonna talk about this. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into Unity and show you how to do it. Again, we're gonna use free assets, textures. Some of these are free and some of these are I just found on Google. So they're not necessarily legal, but the point is just to show you how to do it quick and dirty and free. And the ultimate goal here is to make it look hyper polished and breathtaking. A solo game does not have to look ugly, okay? Let me prove it to you. Hey, but before we continue, a huge thanks to this video's sponsor, Ovani Sound. If you've ever struggled with audio for your game, and let's be honest, I think most of us indie devs have, Ovani makes it so much easier with high quality music and sound effects made specifically for game development. Every track is created by real human composers and sound designers. Their team comes from a AAA background, and it's their mission to give indie devs AAA level audio without needing, well, a AAA level budget. For Black Friday, we've collaborated and put together an exclusive bundle just for you guys, and it's packed with great stuff. It comes with 13 music and sound effect packs in genres like sci-fi, fantasy, retro, and more, giving you a solid base for almost any project. You also get their plugins for Godot, Unreal, and Unity to simplify sound integration and dynamic music control. And all music packs include 3 intensity levels to make that even easier. Look, everything's royalty free. There's no subscription. And every pack is a one-time purchase that you can use forever. Now, this is important. The bundle is available only through December 12th. So if you want to make high quality handcrafted audio for your games, definitely check out the bundle using the link in the description. So this is what we've got. This is what happens with a lot of games, guys, that use assets. Because they don't have a fundamental understanding of textures and color and lighting and fog and mood and atmosphere, they don't know how to put the assets into a scene and make it look cohesive, unique, and all do it inexpensively. Half-Life 2, the boat scene. We're gonna replicate that using assets. Is it gonna look like Half-Life? Heck no. Is it gonna look like an indie game? Yes. Is it gonna look unique? Yes. All right, I'm gonna start with the Skybox. So this is the Skybox I've got. And the size, this is not the correct size, by the way. It's not like industry standard, I just chose a size. 4096 by 2048. All right, so I'm gonna type in storm clouds. Let's do storm cloud or storm. There we go. I think that's all we need right there. I'm gonna grab that. I'm gonna bring that in, and this is actually going to be the part where not only are we gonna make our Skybox, but we're also gonna make our color palette. But I'm gonna take this Skybox here. I'm just gonna fade out the parts that I don't want. I'm gonna take this stuff here and fill it in so that we don't see this. And this Skybox, I promise you it's gonna make so much of a difference. So this is why I call it low-hanging fruit. Skyboxes are a quick way to make your game look amazing. I'm just gonna save it and make sure the scale looks good, okay? So here it goes. I'm telling you, it's low-hanging fruit, man. Let's fill that. Let's just do this here. And then I'm gonna take this, duplicate it, go a little bit bigger, and just bring it up here. And look, we can kind of just scale it up. And you might be wondering, Thomas, but it's not looping properly. I'm gonna show you how to loop it, okay? And then down here, we just wanna use a yellow color. And we're gonna talk about picking the right colors in just a sec here for the entire scene. Color theory is gonna let us get away with a lot of bad topology and a lot of bad assets, frankly. So already looks incredible, or at least 10 times better. You'll notice the lighting looks really, really bad. I was gonna say a cuss word. It's really, really bad. And we've also got this weird sort of pinching here. I'm gonna show you how to fix that as well. We're gonna take this right here, this maybe the average color, maybe that one, and just do this. That way we get rid of that pinching at the top there. There we go, pinching's gone. And then let's make sure it loops properly or tiles properly. What I'm gonna do is merge everything together here. I'm gonna crop it, and then I'm gonna transform, flip, horizontal. That way, all I gotta do is have this little edge over here, and it loops perfectly to this side. Save it. You're gonna wanna make sure it's set to clamp as the wrap mode with point no filter, and you wanna make sure you turn mipmaps off. So if you generate mipmaps, it gets this weird seam. All right, looks good. Let's go to our environment tab here, and I'm gonna turn off, or I'm gonna tone down the Skybox lighting entirely for now. And instead, I'm just going to turn on a directional. This is going to be crazy. When you add a directional light with shadows and you add long shadows, and this is related to what we were talking about with mood. A lot of people will say, why, Thomas, why are they always moody and foggy and they use long shadows? And I say, well, because it's a tiny team, if not completely solo. And this is a great cheap way to make really interesting art on the cheap. And I'm going to make sure we go to our directional light here. And I'm going to set it to hard shadows just for now so I can see what's going on with the resolution of the shadows. Resolution of the shadows is really bad. And I want to set the strength down like this. There we go. And then just make some longer shadows here. Yeah, the resolution is really bad. And this is the one thing I cannot figure out why this is doing this. Probably because the distance is so big. There we go. We'll set it to 100. Good. Okay. Already looks like 5 times better. We're going to make sure the directional light is natural. So let's say it's 7:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. You're going to get a little bit of a warmer light. Don't do this. Might even have a pink to it, right? Very subtle. You'll notice our textures look like crap. Our coloring looks like crap. So in order to fix that, what I want to do is I want to go into my Skybox. And this is where I want to kind of determine what my colors are. What are the colors going to be for this scene? Well, I kind of want it to have a brownish, orangish look for the sky, something like this. And then I want to use pops of color. This is where color theory comes in. If you have a low saturation background, and then you have a vibrant orange, like a burgundy, a rusty red, like this, you can make your scene look really interesting. You may even be able to get away with like a vibrant yellow. Let's try that one. We'll use a dark brown, low saturated brown. That's kind of cool. I think I want to make this one like a low saturation green. There we go. And then this one, we're going to go, yeah, there we go. So this is our color palette, guys. This is our color palette for this scene. So that's what I like to do when I'm working in a scene. So now let's go ahead and just put this into the game. Well, I know that I like the Skybox to be this color here. This is what it was. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make sure in Unity, there's not any weird coloring going on in the actual material, which there is. So I'm going to do this. There we go. What do we think the fog color should be? I think something like this right here. That might be a really good fog color. So let's go to our lighting tab, turn on fog. We don't want too much. We're going to do something like that for now. Good. We kind of captured the hue of the Skybox. I'm going to go a little bit darker. We could test and say, okay, what would it look like if it was maybe, yes, the warmer color works good too. We're getting there. And you know, it can be really overwhelming. You can look at a scene and go, oh, it looks so bad. What? There's too much to do. It's all so bad. Just follow the process. Follow the process. Remember we had our color palette here? What's that for? Well, it's for the various textures. So let's open up our textures here. And I like to have all of my textures as Photoshop files so I can quickly open them up and tweak the colors. Now let me show you what I mean here. I think the grass is gonna make the biggest impact. And by the way, I kind of want it to be more of a yellow grass. So I'm actually gonna grab that color right there. There we go. Was that what it was? I think that's what it was. So what I'm gonna do here is put this here, and then I'm gonna do a hue set. I'm not gonna do a colorization. And by the way, if you want to make your game look really flat, colorize everything. Be my guest. And you can do that sometimes, but I've found that if you do this instead, it's a lot more effective because you get these nice little pops of color in here. And if you don't like those colors, you go, okay, well, I don't want that pinkish red. So I can go to my red channel here and adjust those to be, gray and make them darker. So now my grass is going to match that color. Already looks pretty good. Okay, let's do this. We're not gonna use that orange frequently. This is the color of our dirt. Let's save that and take a look. Yay. Moving forward, we've got this stone texture. Good, okay. And then finally the sand. And I'm gonna adjust the lightness so that the brick is lighter and then the sand is darker. There we go. The sides are gonna brighten up. I think so far we're good. So far, we're good. You're probably thinking, wow, this is really gray. That's kind of the point because we're going to use pops of color to make it look not gray. But let's bump up all of our textures here to be bigger. So I'm going to do 5 by 5 for all of our textures in the tiling. I think the sand is a little dark, so we're going to bump that up just a little bit. And you can do. This is why I love using PSDs because I can do it in real time. So far, so good. I think that I want a nice kiss of saturation with the grass. There we go. All right, so far so good. Let's warm up the light just a tad. A little bit more orange. There we go. Yay. Okay, awesome. So we have a nice warm light. Evening shadows are being cast pretty nice here. Okay, you guys want to fix the color of the water? Let's go ahead and fix the color of the water. Right now it's a little too saturated. So I'm going to take this water here and we're going to change the shallow color to be kind of a grayish green. There we go. And then the deep color, like a gray, maybe even a yellow, muddy. There we go. You know what's really killing the shot? The rocks. So we're going to go to the rocks. Same thought process here. So I'm going to open up the PSD and I'm going to think, okay, well, what's the color of the rocks? This. We're trusting our gut. I'm sorry, no, we're not trusting our gut. We're trusting our color palette. I'm going to have to colorize this because there is no color information. Good. Crank it down. Decrease the saturation. There we go. Matchy, matchy. There we go. Turn off the smoothness. See what I said? You'll notice that it doesn't match this. Okay, so when in doubt, this is a trick that I learned. I think I learned it 2 weeks ago, honestly. When in doubt, just take a texture from your other textures and just slap it onto other assets. This is why I use PSDs. I'm going to use overlay, reduce the saturation here, and I'm going to just flip it so that it's a nice clean tiling. And then I'm going to do another one here. For now, this is going to work for us. Look, watch this. Watch. I freaking told you. It looks like it works. It matches. And it's totally different assets. Ah, love it. Now the water looks like it doesn't work. We may have to use smoothness because otherwise we're just not going to get texture. I don't hate it. And we're just going to stick with it. Very subtle here. And then we're going to make this look kind of brownish. Whoa, look at all these cool values. And this was a free asset, right? A very free, very wonderful and free asset. Moving on. This is going to really change things, okay? All of this stuff here, these are all billboards of just textures that I found on Google. Actually, no, these were found on Vecteezy. And what I'm going to do is just use alpha clipping. Let's see here. I don't think you can render both faces with alpha clipping. Yeah, I found that to be true and I don't know why. For some reason, alpha clipping just doesn't work. I have no idea why. Let's go to our grass billboard here and take a look and see what the alpha transparency is set to. Input texture alpha, good. Alpha is transparency, remove matte, apply. Okay, so that should do it. And for some reason it's not. So let's figure out what's going on here. So this is the tree, right? I'm going to go to mode. It's in grayscale. I'm going to go to RGB, rasterize, save. And I'm going to go over to the other one here, which is this one here. So this is now RGB. Let's see if this fixes it. Okay, there we go. All right, it's showing up as transparent. Thank God. Okay, so the issue was it was in RGB, or is in grayscale. There we go. It needs to be in RGB because it doesn't have the alpha information. It's grayscale. Save that. Now it should import properly. Alpha's transparency, input texture alpha, apply. There it is. Yay! Now we haven't done any composition here yet. Composition is stuff like this. Taking your trees, your billboards, and just creating a really cool shot. And you want to think like a director. Don't think like a game dev. Think like a director. A director would be standing here and they'd say, you know what? I really want like a tree line right here. You know? Okay, we have this asset. This was free. This asset of a tree. This is going to be a low poly sort of retro looking game. So I don't want all these high quality LODs. I just want one. So I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to remove the LOD group because it's a small scene. We don't need a bunch of LODs. And I'm going to go to URP, lit, and we should have a texture, but we're not going to really need it, honestly. So I'm just going to drop it down and turn off the specular. Honestly, I think it needs some texture. The tree did not come with texture. Oh no, what are we going to do? Well, it's totally fine. Believe me. I'm going to take a gander here that if I put this rock texture on this tree or a grass texture on this tree, that it will work. Or what we could do is we could say, you know what? I'm going to duplicate this grass texture and I'm going to call it bark. Now you're probably going to think, oh, the unwrap isn't going to be very good though. Well, it's far away. That's okay. Okay, so there's our bark. We can adjust it later if we want. And I could grab this. There's our bark. Good. I'm going to grab it and put it here. There it is. I'm just going to set it to white. And it's just those subtleties that make it work. Not bad. The little pieces here are driving me crazy. So this is why, again, you want to use Photoshop. Are we using alpha clipping? Turn that crap off and remove, there we go. Oh, so much better, Tommy. This sort of drives me crazy here. It feels really empty back here. So what I'm going to do is actually go into my terrain tool and raise the terrain just so it doesn't feel like it's just ending. There we go. Something like that might look really cool. Yes. Okay. Thank God. Same over here. This is a big problem with a lot of indie games that are doing exteriors. They don't feel nestled. They feel flat and they feel like a desert. And that's because they're not prioritizing the horizon. Okay, so far so good. One thing I want to focus on here is I'm ready to get some of that pop of color in. You guys want to see that pop of orange? Well, we've used these colors, and these colors determined what the color was for all of our different textures. We're going to use this orange color, and it's going to tell us what this color needs to be. I'm not going to do a colorization. I'm not going to colorize this to be orange. Instead, I'm going to make the blue orange. So I'm going to grab the blues, crank up the saturation. We're going to need the cyans, actually. Crank up the saturation and go orange. Hyper orange. Look at that. This is going to look so good. And already, look, color theory wins again. Nice. Can we crank up the saturation? How much saturation can we crank up before we start losing the fidelity of it? That looks great. Okay, we need to do the same thing with that house there. In fact, I'm going to use a baby blue. We have this roof, and I could go, okay, well, maybe we're going to make it like a rusted orange roof. So I'm going to just get the roof portion of the diffuse or the albedo, and I'm going to crank it up here, and I'm going to select inverse, and then just do that. There it is. That didn't work. Well, apparently there is no roof in that UV. Ah, yes. Okay, so we need to do this one. Right here, same thing here, guys. I'm going to do hue, saturation, shift. I wonder if we could get away with doing this. Maybe. Let's try it. That looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Get rid of that shine. Oh, check it out. Looks pretty cool, huh? And for this, which is this right here, I think what we could do is go with that baby blue. Sort of a sky blue, soft baby blue. Let's try that and see what it does. Okay, that didn't do anything, and I'm trying to figure out why. Is it because I'm not bringing in the PSD? There's the PSD. There we go. Okay, so that's not going to do it for me. So what I might want to do is I'm going to actually just colorize the exterior, which is this. And we're going to do baby blue. There it is. Yes! I like that. That looks cool. Okay, so that orange is now too vibrant to my right. And also that's too vibrant as well. We don't really need it that orange, now that I'm thinking about it. There we go. That's much better. That's great, guys. Awesome. And so we did this, what, in, was it 3 hours? 3, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours? I can't quite remember. But this is sort of the final result. You can imagine with some sounds, some water, and a bog, maybe some trees blowing in the wind, what you could get with just some free assets, good color theory, good textures. Let's say I wanted the sound of a train, but I only want to hear the sound of the train once. So I'm going to go train. Okay, good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is the stuff that matters, guys. I'm going to find on the Unity Asset Store, I'm going to find a free train. It doesn't need to be perfect, okay? It needs to be just some crappy train. I kind of like this one. We're going to grab it, download it, and I'm going to basically make this train go behind that orange building, and you're going to be like, it's going to click. It's going to click in your head, so that is what makes a game good, or at least fun and interesting, and it makes you feel like you're in the world. Let's type in train and see if it's in our assets. There it is. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually going to delete these, and I'm just going to put this train. You can imagine if we know that the player is going to be locked in and limited and they cannot walk up the walls. So you can imagine maybe we would put like a fence locking in the player. Then we can get away with a lot of cool stuff like this. What I want to do is set this to 0, 0, 0. There we go. And I'm going to make this sequence just like this. Okay, there's our train. I'm going to call this train. Obviously, and then parent it to another game object, call it train sequence. I'm gonna create a new animation. Now what I can do is put this train right here. And the first thing I wanna do is, and this is why I love making like linear games or story games, because everything's kind of a set piece. So that's a perfect spot for it. And the theory is we could start here. It's gonna be super rough. Right here, we're gonna start, and then for 1, 2, 3, yeah, like 8 seconds, we're gonna have the train. And even if it looks like crap and it's kind of like not super realistic, who cares? I don't know why it's not moving along a straight line. My theory is it's because the terrain isn't, but I could be wrong. I have no idea why it's not moving along a straight line. Okay, so let's see how this looks in play mode. And then we're gonna have it trigger when the player gets near it. So this is what it's gonna be, something like this. The player will be at the ground level. That's it. That's all we needed. Very subtle immersion. All right, here's the before. And this is not like I made it look bad. These are the assets that I pulled into the scene. Now, the reason some stuff's pink and white is because I'm in URP. So some of the assets got stripped. So some of this stuff is missing textures, but all of this is just junk assets. And I put this little scene together. We spent about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, repurposing or cleaning up the textures and getting this to work here. Man, this looks great. If I'm being completely honest, this looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Also, hey, don't forget to check out the Black Friday bundle from Ovani Sound. If you want high quality music and sound effects specifically made for game development, you can check it out and get the bundle before December 12th by simply clicking the link in the description.